Hi friends, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to share with you a project life process video from 2022 and a little bit of an update on my approach this year. So as I said earlier in previous videos, I plan to share with you a weekly project life process video and to keep up with 2022 by doing these about a week after I live that week. I do really enjoy project life going back in time, but I also really like doing it as I'm living it. And I feel like you kind of get a little bit of a different album out of it when you do it that way. So that has been my plan, and that is still my plan, but I use primarily Ali Edwards products, and I also use products from Studio Calico. And if you also use those products, you would be aware that there are some serious supply chain issues. It's not just with these brands, but with other brands as well. And my kits are just not here yet. So I'm going to have to adjust my process and work through my album as I receive product. While I'm waiting for products, I will likely work on some other projects that I will share with you, or share some other videos that I have planned. But do know that I intend to catch up with this as soon as my products come in, and to share these weekly process videos with you. And once the supply chain issues sort themselves out and I am getting my products regularly, then I will go back to sharing the pages as I originally intended. I just wanted to show you kind of where I am with January so far. So I did create my title page, and I had a process video for that in the Teresa Moxley classroom, the In My Pocket collab class that I contributed to. So if you're interested in that and a little bit more about my approach to cover pages for Project Life, check out that class. So I started out my album with a quote from Taylor Swift and just a simple title page here using the digital Begin Story Kit. So my plan for Project Life is generally there are about 4 weeks per month. I'm still sticking with my weekly process, and I already shared a process video for this one, which was using items from my stash. I intend to do 1 week every month using items from my stash. I also recently subscribed to the Studio Calico Documenter Kit. I have received these kits in the past, and I had not been getting them for the last couple of years because I had just too many products, and I decided I'm ready to dive into that brand again. So every month I will have one process video using the monthly Documenter Kit, and that is what I'm going to share with you today. And I'm going to do week 2, which is January 10th through 16th. Week 3, I'm going to use the Begin Story Kit. I intend to do a weekly spread using a story kit each month. It might be the one that comes out that month, or it might be another one from my stash, depending on what fits, what's happening in my life. I will not guarantee that I'm going to always do a story kit because sometimes they're more specific and don't really fit, but I'm going to try to do that monthly. And then finally, I'm going to do a week using the Stories by the Month kit. I had originally planned to do the first week of the month using Stories by the Month, but because of the shipping delays, I don't have that kit yet. And so I'm moving it to the end of the month for January. And I know that it has some similar cards across the entire year. And some of them are sort of recap cards. So I'm thinking that I might actually move to doing the Stories by the Month for the last month of every month moving forward. But I'm not sure yet. I will share more about that once my kits come in and I start getting into February. For today though, I'm going to put together this spread, which would be week 2. So my first step for that is to take it out of the album. And I will work on putting this spread together. And let's see here, I've got these out of order. There we go. So this would be week 2, and I'm going to use the Studio Calico Documenter Kit. So the first step to that is to just kind of open the kit and go through it. So I haven't gotten a Studio Calico kit in a while, but it's a lot of fun to just kind of look at all the different little pieces that are included. There's always a stamp set, a collection of embellishments, and then for the past few years, they've been doing a monthly embellishment that appears in every month for the year. And this year, it's going to be those wood words for the month, so I'm excited about that. Then I go through the cards and I picked one to use as my title card and looked at some of the other ones that I might want to cut up. And then I'm sorting the 3x4 cards. So I'm sorting them based on journal cards, filler cards, patterns, and ones I might want to cut up. So because the journal cards are double-sided, I really have to think about how I want to sort them and which side I want to use. I also like to cut my cards up a lot because these kits come with a lot of cards, and I would never use them all if I don't cut them up and use them as embellishments. And I think that it gives me a lot more flexibility to get more decoration in my spread and get more out of my kits. So my next step is printing and cropping my photos. I print at home, and I tend to print a little at a time as I start laying things out. So you can see I printed my first page of photos out, and then now I am going through the journal cards and kind of selecting the ones that I want to use for this week. Now, if you've watched my videos before, you know that I always like to have one catch-all journal card to tell a variety of stories, and I really love that one that has those 4 dots on it for that. And then I chose a few of the other journal cards that had specific prompts or various things that I could use to tell my stories from this week. I also realized in looking through my photos that I had a lot more vertical photos than horizontal photos. And the kit came with these, you can see it off to the side there. They almost look like a postage stamp. They're orange stickers, but they're large, almost 3x4. And I decided that I would use those as a repeated element across 3 of the cards to include more vertical photos. So I'm cropping down some white cardstock to 4x6 to be a backer for those 3 cards. And I'm going to give them the same treatment and keep them across the spread. So I'm going to just kind of lay everything out, and you'll see how that part comes together in a little bit. There was a card in the kit that had this it's like a book insert, like a library card that says author and title of a book and gives some space for you to journal about it. So I thought it'd be fun to print out a screenshot of the cover of the book that I was reading this week and include that on that card. I don't always include details about what I'm reading or watching or that type of thing in these spreads, but I tend to add that as extra filler if I don't have a lot of other photos or things going on. And in January, I tend to not take a ton of photos. It gets dark early and we don't do a lot because it's so cold outside. So I often don't have a ton of photos. So it's a good time for me to include some of those other stories. You saw there I also cut out that Hello 2022 banner from the 4x6 card because it says Hello 2022. I wanted to make sure that I used that one because if I don't use it this month, I probably would never use it. And I thought it would be a good decoration to include on that photo of my bookshelf that shows all of my Project Life albums that are completed over the past few years, including my 2021 album. I still am working on the second half of 2021, but you can see the first half there on that in that photo. Then I did my title card. I tend to always do that as my first embellished card, and then I kind of just work across the spread in whatever cards inspire me. So you can see here I'm starting to put together these 4x6 cards where I'm going to put down one of these orange stickers and a photo and use that as a journaling spot to tell some more stories this week. So I did that on 3 separate cards. I have one of my husband there because we celebrated our dating anniversary this week. One of me working out or doing Pilates that I took a selfie just to tell the story of me getting back into exercise, which is something I tend to do in January. I always fall off in the summer and the fall because I'm so busy with other things, and then I periodically get back into it. So I'm back into it now, and I always feel like that's such a cliche doing that in January, but it doesn't really matter when I do it as long as I do it, right? And then the third one there is a photo of my cat and me watching a story kit classroom because I'm going to tell a story about how I was crafting a lot this week. I tend to do a lot of crafting, especially in the winter because it's so cold out and we don't do a lot on the weekends. So I had, I believe this weekend I spent the entire time home crafting, and that's what that journaling card is going to tell the story of. I really love these alphabet stickers that came in the kit, and I wanted to use them on a few of my cards, but they seemed a little too close in color to that background that they wouldn't really pop out. So I pulled out this white washi tape I have, and it's almost just like vellum. It just adds a little something to ground my stickers on and provide a little additional contrast between the background and my title. And I'm just giving these 3 cards the same treatment because I like the repetition across the spread, and then I don't really have to think about it each time and come up with something new for each card. So I did exercise, crafting, and celebrate for our anniversary, and I scattered those cards across the spread. I would have preferred if those orange stickers had 3 that matched, but it worked out this way. And I also would have liked if I could have fit all 4 on the spread, because now I have that one extra one and I really wanted to use up supplies, but I'm happy that I got 3 of these into the spread. I'm just speeding up a little bit while I'm doing my journaling, but off camera, I am looking at the Day One app to pull some of these larger or longer stories and remember what I wanted to journal. I also have my sticky note there to refer to make sure I'm telling all of the stories I want to tell. This week I had a Zoom call with some of my crafty friends, and so I took a screenshot of that, and I am just using these same alpha stickers to provide a title on here that says Zoom date, and then I pulled a color theory label out of my stash to add some additional journaling onto this photo, just about, the fact that we met up and we're chatting and crafting on the call, or at least some of us were crafting. I wasn't crafting, but next time I'm going to do that because that was a great idea. So I had added a chipboard piece on the bottom of the other 2 4x6 cards that have my journaling on it. But this one I didn't have quite as much journaling on. There just wasn't as much to say for this story. So I had more space on there, and it also is that different orange color. So I felt like I wanted to do something a little bit different at the bottom. So I'm trying out a few of the different embellishments from the kit. I didn't like the fabric piece because there wasn't enough contrast. The butterflies were kind of cute, but the scent, there wasn't really a reason for a butterfly. And then I ended up putting that flower chipboard on there, which I thought worked really, really well. And I'm looking through the rest of the cards in the kit to see if there's anything else I want to use. And I just decided to cut out this shape on here that says trust the magic of new beginnings and add that to this card or this photo that is just me, my cat, my husband, and our dog relaxing on the couch. The sentiment doesn't really necessarily match the photo, but it's more the fact that it's January and it's a start to a new year. Then I'm adding some journaling onto this card just about this book that I'm reading as part of my One Little Word project, and then I started it this week. And then I wanted to add a little bit of an embellishment. I had this additional journaling card here that I decided I was going to journal about Tuesday because I had a kind of a busy day. And so there was a lot going on. So I again used those alpha stickers to create a title, and I'm journaling on here. That using the alpha stickers from the kit. Sorry there. I like the repetition that it creates across the spread, and that's one reason why I really like to work with kits, and something I'm really going to try to do more this year in my album. I added a sticker from my stash in that little circle spot. Although I'm working from a kit, I am pulling a few pieces here and there out of my stash as I feel like they fit the spread. And I, that way I'm using up some of my products, but I'm primarily pulling from the kit so that I don't spend so much time digging for the perfect supply, and instead am pushed to use the products that I am purchasing. This card came in the kit, and it gives you kind of a prompt to write 3 resolutions for the year. So I just looked at my goals for the year and pulled 3 of them from my planner and put them on there with a few bullet points about ways that I'm going to try to accomplish those goals. You saw that Hello 2022 banner. I ended up cutting off the little flags at the end because I liked it up against the side. And now I'm just going through and embellishing the last few cards. And then once all my embellishing is done, I am working on my last journal card here. So you can see I'm looking at my sticky note there to get the last 4 stories that I want to include on my little bullet point list here of the random little tidbits from the week that didn't make it onto any of my other cards. I ended up having quite a bit of journaling on this spread, even though not a ton was going on, but I had a lot more reflective journaling on, the things that I'm working on right now, like exercise and crafting, in a general sense, like the theme of it, as opposed to, this is what we did this day and this is what we did this day. And I think that part of that is because I'm working on this in real time, that this week is still fresh in my memory. And I really like that, and I hope to stick with that approach for this year and really trying to work with the kits as I buy them and keep up with this project in real time. Let me know if you have any questions. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for being here.